Hey guys, welcome back to another Amped Authenticate update video. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the new features that are going to be arriving in this update. This includes improving the video PRNU, customizable JPEG ghost plots, as well as better batch processing and a few other things that we'll touch on as well. As you may remember, the highlight of the last Amped Authenticate update video was introducing video PRNU. The video PRNU capabilities that we introduced gathered a lot of attention as expected. If you're already familiar with PRNU analysis, then you're probably aware that one of the most important steps to this analysis is extracting the PRNU noise from the reference and evidence frames. We are always striving to make our products the best they can be for our users, and in this instance we realized that we could improve this noise extraction algorithm, so we focused on improving this for you, and this has had an impressive impact on the performance. While I introduce this improvement to you, in the background I'm going to be creating a CRP, and then I'm going to be using that CRP to do some tampering detection on an evidence file. And it's going to be the same that I did in the previous video, because I want to compare the results to what we got with the old algorithm compared to the new algorithm. If you can't remember how to create the CRP or how to use that CRP to do some tampering detection on evidence videos, then feel free to go back to our previous update video where I explain that in detail. Everything that we introduce into our software goes through testing and validation. Now, I'm not going to go through the testing and validation that was done for this improvement in the video PRNU in this update video. However, you may be aware that we also release update posts on our blog. So I would recommend, if you are interested, to go over to our blog and have a look at the update post for this update, and there you'll be able to see exactly how this was tested and validated. So now if I bring your attention to the actual video itself, you can see this processing of the tamper detection is just finished, and we can pull up the graph now that's going to show us which frames ended up above our threshold and below our threshold. So as you can see from our graph here, the frames in the middle of this video didn't come from the same device as the CRP or the frames before and after that section. Now that we're looking at the graph from the improved video PRNU, I'm going to overlay the old graph. If we take a close look at the old graph, you'll see that the section after the tampered area is less consistent than our new improved one. You can see there's a few drops there. There's a drop that goes underneath our threshold, and it's less balanced and less consistent than our new improved version of the video PRNU. Now, I want to express that the old version here still successfully detected where the tampering was, but where we didn't have the tampering, it wasn't as efficient at telling us that there was no tampering there. Okay, so now I would like to introduce the improvements to our JPEG ghost plot and how we've made this customizable to save you time during your analysis and processing of this filter. So the JPEG ghost plot is a highly appreciated filter because of how versatile it is. It works on any image format, and it can effectively reveal possible previous JPEG compressions in an intuitive way. If you're not familiar with this filter, in summary, how it works is it recompresses the image to JPEG at increasing qualities, computing the total difference between the evidence image and the recompressed version. And the filter will then eventually plot the differences obtained through all the iterations, so through all the different quality settings. So if I go down to our JPEG ghost plot filter and apply this, you'll see in the old version and how I've got it set up at the moment, it's going to recompress this image that I've loaded in every quality from a range of 1 to 100. And you'll notice that it's taking a little bit of time to do this. But we realize that we don't need to, in general, check every single quality setting for JPEG images. These days it's very rare that JPEGs will be saved under a quality of 50%, and normally it's around above 60. So right now we can see in our plot that we've got an indication that this image was saved at a quality of 80%, and potentially as well around 90. So in this image in particular, we didn't need all that processing to occur below 74-75. So what I could have done is I could change my quality setting here. So my minimum quality it's going to assess from is, in this case, 69. And this will decrease the processing time. We still get all the same relevant information. We can see the information plotted, but we don't need to wait for the processing to occur for the previous minimum quality settings. And this will drastically increase the speed when you're looking at larger images. The next new feature I'd like to introduce is a change to the file format. Here we're introducing decoded pixels MD5. So let me jump into Authenticate and show you what I mean. So for a long time in Amped Authenticate, we've been showing the files MD5 and other hash values. And these hash values are calculated from the full file, including the metadata and the format of the file. However, with this update, we've included decoded pixels hash. So let me show you how this works and where you can find it. So I'm first going to bring in a JPEG image here. And if we go and take a look at the file format for this, you'll see that this is a JPEG image and we've got a decoded pixels hash code here. Now imagine you're searching through a phone for someone who may have changed just metadata. So if I were to change just the metadata in this file, or even if I were just to save this out as a new format, even though it's being saved as a new format, as long as the pixels haven't changed, then this decoded pixels will remain the same. So I'm going to bring in now a bitmap version of this image, and you'll see in the MD5 slot where it's doing a hash on the full file, including the format, the metadata, etc., you can see the hash codes are different. However, because the bitmap was saved uncompressed, so there was no changes to the pixels of the image, the only thing that's changed is the format, the decoded pixels MD5 will remain the same. This is a new feature that we've added with this update so that you can see if two images have the same pixels hash code. The final thing I'd like to show you today is that we've improved our batch processing. And this comes from feedback from you guys, from our loyal users. We were notified that when running a batch file format analysis or a batch file format comparison, Authenticate could end up hanging if a corrupted image or file was encountered. And we understood that this was very annoying, especially if you had the software running overnight to process thousands of images, but it ended up stopping on image 4 because there was an issue with image 4. So now this has been improved and Authenticate will no longer hang if it comes across this issue. So let me demonstrate. If I go to my tools and do a batch file format analysis in this folder, you'll see it's going to do the process and it's going to encounter a few corrupted images here. You can see we've got corrupted images 2 to 5. However, the process didn't hang and it carried on processing the other files. And we can see we've got all that information that we wanted for these files now. I hope you enjoyed this update video, and I hope you enjoy the new features that you're going to be finding in Amped Authenticate. Until next time, take care.